What's his website?
It's
historyouthere.com. He's going to tell us about his 2025 charity trek. He must be trekking somewhere.
Yes, he will.
And I hope he cuts his toenails beforehand because you can get some very bad blisters.
You can.
And he's going to tell us about a bold Ipswich electrician prediction from Darwin that went terribly wrong. I'm
Shocking.
so interested. Get into it. It's 8:13. Let's get right into it. Harold.
Yes, good morning, Danny. You're one of my greatest listeners. You can't even remember the website, historyouthere.com.
Oh, I had a mental block, mate. A mental block. Rob McKnight's listening, the media critic, and he loves listening to the program, and he likes your segments, as he should, because they're very professional. Now, tell us about this.
I do my best.
Tell us about this Ipswich person.
Yeah, look, well, I guess it's for Anzac Day. I want to tell you an Ipswich World War II story, and it comes from Darwin in the Northern Territory, which, Danny, is where I'm doing my biennial charity trek this year. So, if it's okay, I'd like to officially announce right now that my trek in July will be to promote and highlight the communities in East Arnhem Land. I'll be up there on country, and I'll be raising money for the charity Drug Arm, which, through its 176-year-old foundation, has been helping to reduce the harms of alcohol and other drugs since 1849. So there's a lot of history there as well. That's right. And it's needing to fund programs, including for veterans right here in Ipswich. And so, Danny, the listeners can find the donation details on my website, historyouthere.com.
Historyouthere.com. And it's Drug Arm. And when do you start?
In July. So you can people can go in there and see the details straight away now. But I'll be preparing and posting pictures and stories and stuff. I'll be trekking through East Arnhem Land, camping on country, getting to places where people don't normally get. So I'll be sharing that with you and hopefully raising money for a really good charity.
It sounds really good to us, and we want to hear about this Ipswich electrician.
Yeah, that's right. And it was in April 1938. That's when two Ipswich electricians, Henry Walker and Jim Headley, made the 2,000-kilometre journey to Darwin aboard the steamship Morella.
Right.
Now, both Henry's father and father-in-law were prominent coal mine owners in Ipswich.
Right.
Both Henry and Jim were members of the Ipswich Bowling Club and the Ipswich Golf Club. In fact, Henry later even had a golf trophy named in his honour. Anyway, the two of them went to Darwin to attend the wedding of Jim's brother Jack.
Right.
Now, the wedding was performed by the former Ipswich Methodist minister, the Reverend Leonard Kentish. Now, on the way over to Darwin, the two electricians marvelled at the 60 purling luggers that were anchored in Thursday Island Harbour.
Right.
But when they got to Darwin, they really wanted to go buffalo shooting, but, it was too soon after the rainy season, so they couldn't get out there.
Right.
So Henry and Jim checked out the town of Darwin instead. And they reported back that they were impressed that the Australian Defence Department had a permanent garrison in Darwin. Right. This was in response to a suspicion, Danny, that if there ever was to be a foreign invader, Darwin would probably be the first place attacked.
Yes.
Now, yes, and Henry and Jim noted that surveys were being taken to strengthen the defence system there.
Wow.
They talked to the locals about a rumoured invasion by Japan. This was in 1938.
Holy.
And they spoke about a mystery aeroplane that was flying over Darwin at night.
Wow.
But Henry and Jim, they came back to Ipswich and said there was absolutely nothing to worry about. After all, the locals weren't worried.
No.
Now, there must have been some nerves, though, because Jim's brother Jack moved back to Bouville to live with his parents.
Right.
And this was in July 1939. And, of course, we all know that in September 1939, Australia was plunged into the Second World War.
Correct.
And we were directly threatened when Singapore fell, and 4 days later, Darwin was bombed by the Japanese. And the first day of bombing, that involved more than 240 Japanese aircraft, which killed more than 250 Australian and Allied military personnel and civilians. This was the biggest single attack ever mounted by a foreign power on Australia, and more than 100 air raids against Australia followed.
Wow.
So boy, Danny, there was more than 100 against Australia. And Ipswich's Henry Walker and Tim Headley, they got it so wrong. They came back and reported to the paper, nothing to see here. Now, not only was Darwin being pummeled, but the ship they travelled on to Darwin was called into active service.
Right.
The SS Morella had been surrendered by Germany and given to Australia as part of the war reparations following the First World War.
Wow.
She now spent the duration of the Second World War as an Australian troop ship.
Wow.
Now, what's more, Ipswich's Reverend Kentish, who had married Jim's brother in Darwin, he was captured by the Japanese. In fact, he was the only Australian captured by Japanese forces in Australia during World War II. Now, he was captured and then beheaded. This was a crime for which the perpetrator was hung after the war.
Wow.
And that was Reverend Kentish. So, Daddy, next time two Ipswich electricians give you their view on geopolitics, you better check their sources. And so, look, I'm going to Northern Territory in July, and I'll even be tracking down a Japanese Zero that was shot down back then.
Oh, mate, that interests me. You'll be up in the Arnhem Land in July for Drug Arm. It's been around a long time. HistoryOutThere.com. HistoryOutThere.com. Let's support our friend Harold the H. Peacock, who provides us with wonderful, real information about this wonderful city called Ipswich, mate. So that's HistoryOutThere.com. We'll talk to you next week, right here, with more interesting stories about Ipswich